Microsoft has frozen hiring in some major divisions, but the freeze is not company-wide, and this tells the bigger story, where their priorities are, where tech companies, where job priorities are. The group building Copilot AI is still actively hiring. Basically, any of the divisions that are focused on AI development are churning along. Basically, they're looking to freeze cloud in North American enterprise sales. The sales division being frozen is very interesting, and we'll cover that more in just a moment. The reality, though, is this is not really a new trend. You know, if you've been subscribed to the channel, you know we've been covering this quite a bit recently. Companies are trimming fat, freezing hiring, and essentially cutting out the bottom rung of their career ladder. I honestly don't even know what university and colleges will look like in a few years, because kids are coming out of college $150,000 in debt and unable to find a job because companies are prioritizing AI to empower the people in their organization. I honestly think if you're a new kid coming out of college, the most important thing to do, in my opinion, is to understand how AI can solve problems for these companies and get in there and implement it. It's still sloppy, it's still messy. A lot of businesses don't understand how to use AI in their business, and I think that is the biggest lever that people can have. Let's get back to Microsoft, though. The hiring freeze at Microsoft is not related to losses. They are doing just fine. It's about allocation of resources to AI. They're committing, guys, the numbers that are being committed to AI from companies like Microsoft is astounding. They are committing tens of billions of dollars to AI infrastructure and implementation. Just this year, they've committed to $80 billion, which is just an absurd amount of money to commit to AI. They are also committing a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of blood and treasure to upskilling. And we covered this in a video a few weeks ago. They've committed 20 million, they've committed to upskilling 20 million Indian workers, which I think is interesting. They're just investing really heavily over there in India. All my Indian homies that are watching the video, what's up, guys? Lots of Microsoft infrastructure investment coming your way. But I think what is also telling here is what's happening at Microsoft is not isolated at all. Just last week, we covered Meta, which plans to lay off 20%. Over 20% of Meta's company is going to be laid off. They are gone, terminated. They are out. And what's also interesting, Meta is shutting down anything that's not necessarily aligned with AI development, including metaverse projects, which I found rather surprising that they were shutting down all these metaverse projects, considering they changed their name to Meta. You know, a couple of years ago, Zuckerberg announced we're not going to be Facebook anymore, we're going to be Meta. And I was like, okay, the metaverse is the thing. And it turns out that, well, AI has much more promise. It's much more impactful immediately. And by the way, I don't expect that the metaverse is going to be gone completely. I think VR is going to be really life-changing in a lot of ways. I think, though, in the short term, AI plus augmented reality and wearables are going to be a thing. And we've covered AI wearables like the Meta Ray-Ban glasses in the past. I'll post a link to a video here because I think that technology is very, very impressive. I'll actually be going to a Meta conference in DC. I'm part of their Small Business Leaders Network next month. So I'll be reporting from DC live next month to kind of talk about what Meta is doing with AI and from a kind of political and lobbying standpoint, but more on that when the time comes. Much like Microsoft, Meta is streamlining for AI. They are paying hundreds of millions for top talent. They're investing hundreds of billions into data centers and AI infrastructure. They even, a few weeks ago, acquired Moltbook, which is a social media platform for AI agents. If you haven't been following the Moltbook stuff, that is an insane story. Basically, OpenClaw developed, and I'll just kind of cover it briefly. Basically, OpenClaw, which is an AI agent framework, built out purportedly built out, these AI agents built out this entire social media network where they're having all these conversations. And then Meta acquired the social media network. It's kind of a fascinating story. And, by the way, considering the state of things on social media, I think you could effectively call every social media platform an AI agent platform, because the amount of posts and replies and responses that are done by AI is astronomical. We covered this in a video a couple weeks ago. I'll post a link to that video here also, because basically when you go on social media, it's almost all AI. Like I've been in the podcast production business for a few years, and I've worked with some pretty big shows. I don't really do that much anymore for various reasons, but I've worked with some pretty big shows, and all these guys with big podcasts, quote unquote, are all paying for likes. Everyone on Instagram that has like 1 million followers, they are all paying for their subscribers. They are paying for fake likes. They are paying for fake engagement. It's honestly a huge scam. They're all using bots, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. I mean, I feel like the advertisers have to know it by now. And one thing I will say, that I've participated in that game to a little bit, but I don't like it. It smells bad. It stinks. It's not productive. And what you're seeing on this channel is 100% organic. I've never paid for any bot traffic on the channel at all. No ads. This is all organic. These are all real people I've had conversations with. I've gotten on Zoom calls with some of these people. What's up, Nikos? I see you, brother. I actually got on a call with Nikos a few weeks ago and got a chance to talk with him on his podcast. So they're actually real people. What's up, John, Henry? I see you guys out there. Marcine, Alejandro. Like there are real people in the comments that I'm reading. At any event, all natural in an AI world. So anyway, let's get back to the story here. So Meta, just like Microsoft, doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on AI. And Mark Zuckerberg even said, quote, projects that used to require big teams now can be accomplished by a single, very talented person, end quote. And this should tell you everything. The way the world is moving, guys, is hiring one person that's AI literate that can perform the task of multiple people. And I've been doing it with Claude Cowork. I've been just extremely efficient. And I'll be frank, there are people that I work with that I'm kind of thinking like, well, I don't actually need this person to do the work anymore. I can just have Claude Cowork do it. I can actually have Claude Cowork do it automatically. And this is where stuff just gets crazy. Like, just the job roles are starting to erode because we can use AI. I've kind of peppered this in the last few videos. I've been talking about it a lot because I'm very excited about it. I'm hosting a workshop in a couple weeks with a friend of mine who's like, he's building these apps with AI. He has no coding experience, no developer experience. He's building these apps with AI in just a couple days. It's just absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's possible. So anyway, I'll put a link below if you're interested in information on the workshop. You don't have to join, but what you do need to do is learn this stuff. You want to go to school of YouTube, you want to, read articles and stuff, put it together, that's fine. But it's very clear to me that if you want to be competitive in today's society, AI literacy is mandatory. Because again, it's not just Microsoft, it's not just Meta. We look at Amazon. Amazon trimmed 30,000 corporate employees recently. And why do they do that? Efficiency gains from AI, plus a little bit of overhiring during the pandemic. But the reality is that every company is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but what about quality control? Is it going to be as good as a human? And I think that the answer to that is, well, probably not at first, but it only gets better. Back to this workshop idea. I was vibe coding about a year ago. I was vibe coding apps, and I was just kind of like, this is a little choppy. It's not working out great for me. And so I ended up kind of shelving it. But now, when I'm seeing my friends build, I have 3 colleagues I've spoken to in the past couple of weeks that are building some amazing, functional, actionable tools with AI. I'm like, okay, I got to get on board. Like, these guys are saving real money. These are business owners that are using AI to save money. But in any event, this stuff is moving quickly, and by being on the ground floor, by learning, by iterating, I think you put yourself in a very good position to be relevant, respected, and financially free, which is why we are all here, guys. The reality, though, is that the needs of companies are changing. And AI literacy and development is mandatory. It is your entire resume of work. This is what I just speak from a business owner and consultant, and even somewhat of an employee type of standpoint. Like, this is what is necessary to be relevant. I was just, looking at a Slack message the other day, and one of the women on one of our teams said, "Oh my gosh, have you guys tried Claude? This is amazing." And I'm like, "Yeah, welcome." It is. It's absolutely insane what's possible. And the more as people start to really catch on to how powerful this stuff is, it is going to become more and more mandatory. Now, back to the beginning here with Microsoft. They froze in hiring, and one of the teams I want to focus in on here is the sales team, because this sales has traditionally been very, very relationship and human based, and that is not going to completely go away, particularly for higher ticket sales. If you're selling high ticket, I think that you're going to still have a lot of humans involved, but a lot of the grunt work, the SDR work, the prospecting work is being fully automated by AI. Microsoft's traditional model was these large enterprise sales teams, long sales cycles, very, very heavy human-driven deals. But what AI changes is it's converting that into being more self-served, plus an AI-assisted adoption. And we're seeing this with Copilot. We're seeing this with Azure AI over there. This doesn't completely replace humans, but it replaces a percentage of humans. And I think this is what people don't fully appreciate, or maybe they're being willfully naive here. Like on this channel, when I say that AI is going to replace all these jobs, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be any HR people anymore. It doesn't mean that I had a video about attorneys. I'll post a link to it here. And people are like, well, AI can't show up in court and plead your case. Like, guys, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is if you used to need, let's say, 10 people in your law practice to serve a role, well, now you might need 4, because AI and automation can serve the role that those other 6 people were serving. That's what I'm saying. And this is the same thing is happening in sales, where you might have needed a team of, let's say, 20 people before. Well, now you need a team of 5 because the AI is handling all that SDR work. And that's why teams are laying off people for efficiency and then freezing hiring because they're trying to figure out what they need. It's very expensive to hire a new person. I don't think people fully appreciate how expensive and time-consuming and frustrating it is to hire and train a new person. These teams are like, well, we don't actually know what we need. And I'll give you a perfect example. I was talking to the CTO of one of the companies that I do work for the other day, and he's like, Mark, 2 months ago, I thought that I needed to hire a coding programmer for our company, but now, I'm actually just using Claude Code to write code. I don't need to hire someone to program and write code. I need someone to handle more of the engineering and development and kind of higher strategic positions. And that's where people are right now. He's like, I was gonna hire here, but I'm not actually sure that that's what I need. I might need something else. So again, we're in this interesting position now, again, with companies like Microsoft, where they're like, freeze all hiring. We don't actually know what we need. We don't actually know what we need. But I'll tell you what, if you do come in with AI tools and AI literacy, and you're able to build apps and you're able to automate, that is going to be very, 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 very attractive. It is very attractive. It is very attractive when you go in and you can say, I built this, I built this, I built that. This is how I'm handling this process. This is how I could see it working in your organization. You are going to be very valuable. Very, very valuable, guys. I don't know how to say, I don't know how else I can better say it. And I just can't believe anybody would argue differently when you see what's happening in the industries, guys. But because I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to doom and gloom you. The reality is AI tools right now are very exciting and they do bring a lot of opportunity. You just need to speak the language. You need to understand some basic skills. And as I mentioned earlier, I've got a workshop coming up. I think it's going to be great. You don't have to join the workshop. Just learn on your own. It's fine by me. But some people, you might benefit from having standard operating procedures, uploadable documents, pre-written, accountability, 2-day run rate, small cohort, questions, answers, support, money back guarantee. I'll even be highlighting the apps for for people that join. If you join the workshop and you do something cool and you want, I will share your story on the channel with hundreds of thousands of people that view the videos. So I think it's gonna be really sick. And it's 2 days, guys. That's one of the problems I found with these workshops and courses. It's like over the course of 2 months, you'll learn how to do something. No, this is 2 days, 2 days time. 2 days time, you're gonna have something that works, it's operational, that in my opinion will be life-changing. You're gonna have the entire framework free apps. It's gonna be sick. I'll be there. I hope to see you there. I'll put a link below if you want to join. If you want more input, more information on that workshop, I spoke about it yesterday. You can check out that link here. Regardless, guys, what's happening with Microsoft is not an isolated incident. Layoffs and freezes are happening everywhere. It's obvious. We can all see it. And AI literacy is table stakes at this point. I'm convinced. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching the video. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And here's yesterday's video where we talk more about the workshop and some of the pain points and why I think it's important. All right, guys. See ya. Peace.